Hello all, welcome to my lecture on IO organization introduction part, which comes under module 3. First is accessing IO devices. The simple arrangement to connect IO devices to a computer is using a single bus arrangement. Here you can see a processor, memory unit and N IO devices. These units are interconnected by a single bus. A bus is actually a set of wires used to interconnect devices. The bus comprises of three sets of lines: address lines, data lines and control lines. Address lines to carry address, data lines to carry data and control lines to carry control signals. Each IO device is assigned a unique set of addresses. When the processor places a particular address onto its address line, that device recognizes the address, respond to the corresponding control signals. The processor requests either a read or write operation and the requested data are transferred over the data lines. If the IO devices and the memory share the same address space, that type of arrangement is called as memory mapped IO. The advantage of memory mapped IO is that any machine instruction that can access memory can be used to transfer data to or from an IO device also. That means move is an instruction used to transfer data between memory locations or between memory and processor. Then if you are using memory mapped IO, then the same move instruction can also be used to move data between input output devices and processor. For example, the input buffer associated with the keyboard is data in. Then if you want to move data from data into processor register R0, then you can use the instruction move data in R0. Next is IO interface for an input device. Here the three set of lines comprising the bus is shown separately. That means the address line, data lines and control lines. Each of the input output devices having a IO interface which is composed of three different modules: address decoder, control circuits, data and status registers. The purpose of address decoder is to decode the address placed by the processor onto the address line. Then data register holds the data being transferred to or from the processor. Status register contains the information relevant to the operation of IO device. Then this data and status registers are connected to the data bus and are assigned unique addresses. The address decoder, control circuit, data and status registers together coordinate the IO transfers and called as the device interface circuit. For example, here you can see a processor, a keyboard and a display. The data buffer associated with keyboard is data in and it is having a status flag S in, and in the display unit you can see the data buffer data out and status flag S out. When a character is entered at the keyboard, that character is stored in the data buffer data in and the status flag SN is set to 1. When this SN is set to 1, the processor knows that some data is available in the data buffer of keyboard and processor reads the data from the data buffer, and If the processor need to display something onto the display device, first it checks the status of display device. If the display device is ready, it set the SOUT flag to 1. And on seeing this, processor sends the data to the data out, that means the data buffer of display device. And when the data is sent to data out buffer, that SOUT flag is set to 0. Now these are the 4 registers involved in the IO operation of keyboard and display device. First is data in, it is the data buffer associated with keyboard. Then data out, data buffer associated with display. Then a status register which is having 4 relevant status flags: SIN, SOUT, KIRQ, DIRQ. SIN is the status flag associated with keyboard. SOUT is the status flag associated with display. These two flags we have already discussed. Then the control register, it is having 2 relevant flags, DEN and KEN. This DEN, KEN and DIRQ and KIRQ are associated with interrupt. So these 4 things are explained later. Now this is a program that reads one line from the keyboard and stores it in a memory buffer and echoes it back to the display. That means this program reads a line character by character from the keyboard and stores that line in the memory area and displays that line into the display device. First is move hash line R0. Here line is the address of the memory location to which the input line is to be stored. So move line R0 moves the address line to the processor register R0. Next is to check the status of keyboard. Test bit 0 status. It checks the status of status flag SIN. That means it checks for whether any character is entered at the keyboard. If any character is entered at the keyboard, this status flag, that means SIN of the status register, is set to 1. Here we are checking test bit 0 status. A 0 indicates that no character is entered at the keyboard. If it is so, then we need to wait. So test bit 0 status, if it is 0, then it goes to a loop, wait k. If some character is entered at the keyboard, this SIN is set to 1. If so, this condition fails and it goes to move data in R1. Data in is the data buffer associated with the keyboard and the entered character will be available in the data in buffer and that character is moved to processor register R1. So now we have the input character is at the register R1. Next we need to display that character onto the display device. For that, first we have to check the status of that display device. So it checks for test bit 1 status. That means it checks whether the flag SOUT is 1. If it is 1, it indicates that the display device is ready. So if it is 0, then we need to wait. That means the display device is not ready yet. So branch equal to 0, wait D indicates that if the device is not ready, we need to loop. And if the device is ready, it set the SOUT flag to 1. So if it is 1, this condition fails and goes to next instruction, move R1 data out. That means the entered character is at R1 and that character is to be moved to data buffer associated with display device. That means data out. So the entered character is now displayed at the display device. Now we have another task, that means to store that character onto the memory area. So move R1 R0 plus. Here it is using a auto increment addressing mode. Auto increment addressing mode, we have discussed it in the class. Here move R1 R0 plus, here the character stored at R1 is moved to address pointed to by the R0 register and the address is incremented. Now next line is compare hash $0D with R1. Hash $0D indicates a carriage return. That means it indicates the end of the line. If we have finished reading an entire line, then we need to stop this process. So comparing the data taken from the keyboard with the carriage return $0D. If it is not equal, that means it is not the end of the line, then we need to repeat the entire process. That means first we need to check the status of keyboard, then the data entered at the keyboard is to be moved to register R1, then again checking status of display unit, and if it is ready, the data at the R1 is moved to display device, and then storing that character onto the memory unit, and so. If it is true, that means it indicates an end of line. If so, then line field is sent to the display unit. That means $0A. It indicates the end of the line. That character is to be sent to the display device. And finally, it calls a subroutine called process to process the input line. Here, in order to achieve the synchronization between processor and the I/O device, the processor repeatedly checks the status flag of the device. That means to check whether the device is ready or not, the processor itself need to check the status flag. That type of process is called program controlled I/O. We have two other techniques for implementing the synchronization. They are interrupts and DMA. In the interrupt, the processor need not worry about the status of this input output device. When the input output device is ready to work, it let the processor know by sending a special signal over the bus. It is the interrupt. And next is DMA. It is direct memory access. It is used for high-speed I/O device. Here the device interface transfer data directly to or from the memory without the continuous involvement of processor. These two concepts, that means interrupt and DMA, we can discuss in the next lecture in detail. Okay, thank you.